Let me take you back to the Northwest now. Protest action by a small group, really, characterized by burning tires. That action has now broken out in the Northwest. This as the provincial ANC will be announcing changes to the provincial leadership of the government in that province. It is believed that this will include replacing current Premier Job Mokgoro. He took over in 2018 following weeks of violent protests against his predecessor, Mokgoro. Let me take you back to eNCA's senior journalist, that's Aviwe Mtila. Aviwe, there was the emphatic assertion by Hlomani Chauke there, who leads the interim provincial committee in the Northwest of the ANC, that there's no problem here. The marching orders have been given by the ANC, despite those people that were outside there, and casting aspersions on those people and their bona fides, basically suggesting that they've been mobilized by someone to be out there and protesting. What is the situation at this hour as we watch that police nyala moving slowly in the distant background with those tires smoldering there?
It was an emotional response to what's going on from the coordinator of the IPC in the Northwest, wasn't it? Suggesting that this is a rogue grouping, in fact, mobilized by someone. The police have come out now, as you can see the police nyala behind me coming through to quell the situation here. Coming in fact, followed by the police kumbis behind it from Mahikeng, we understand, to quell the situation. Just in and around, there are people outside, the community members also coming out just to watch. But I want to show you the exact group of these people. The people that you see over there in the overalls are the about 20 or so people that have mobilized in a sudden protest that happened hardly about 30 to 40 minutes ago, closing off the stretch of about 200 meters right in front of the ANC headquarters in the Northwest province. Of course, theirs is to say that the Premier Job Mokgoro is going nowhere. This, of course, following that media communique from the African National Congress suggesting that at 1 o'clock there will be changes in the local government, deployments from the ANC. Of course, in the middle of it all, we understand Premier Job Mokgoro is the one that's being recalled by the party, but there are suggestions even from the people that we spoke to earlier that he hasn't resigned as yet. As we understand, the IPC in the Northwest as well as the Premier haven't been seeing eye to eye. Remember, the Premier was brought in 2018 to try and bring stability to the Northwest, as we've seen even earlier occurrences of such protests when the then Premier Mokgoro was removed. This is the grouping that came out some 40 or so minutes ago, started just out of nowhere, burning tires, closing off the stretch right in front of the headquarters, asking why are they removing Job Mokgoro. I'm going to try and see if we can talk to some of them to understand, because we see the IPC coordinator suggests that they are a rented crowd. Nomkhulu, who are you? Why are you here?
I'm here to protect my Premier, Job Mokgoro.
Who are you? Where do you come from? What are you part of?
I'm in a part of Heartful Forum. We had enough of people coming from outside and distracting our province and our town, the main town, the capital city. In fact, our town is ravished by people who are coming from outside. They don't care about it. Northwest is down. People from Northwest, they are not benefiting nothing. Look at myself. I'm not working. I'm not doing nothing. People are coming to our offices, distracting everything.
I want to understand, when did you guys meet? Who brought you guys together? And then how did you get here in front of the office?
No, from small communities of Mahikeng. And then we met as my brother, as my brothers, you can see them here.
Who's leading you?
Who's leading us? Mposi Hularo is the leader of this organization, because he had enough of seeing people taking money from the Northwest province to Limpopo to KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay, this is the grouping, Bratulas, that's here in protest, saying that the Premier is not going anywhere. In fact, no confirmation from the IPC itself if the Premier has indeed resigned, because you'd understand, in order for there to be another Premier, Job Mokgoro first has to resign. they haven't been seeing eye to eye with the IPC. Suggestions that Job Mokgoro has been AWOL over the last 2 days, meeting then in the morning with them. But there's no confirmation, as I kept on posing that question to Shomani Chauke, who is the coordinator of the IPC, whether the Premier has resigned, saying that all of that we'll find out in the next 45 minutes at the provincial legislature, as they will make then their announcements, essentially where we'll find out if Premier Job Mokgoro has been replaced. Talks that he'll be replaced by Bushi Mape, who is, of course, one of the 6 people to be released from Robben Island back in February 1990.
As we are talking, one of the things I'm observing about that group that you are showing us on screen at the moment, many of them are wearing work wear in the form of overalls. And I saw one of the guys there had an EPWP green overall that he was wearing. And I'm wondering to what extent that comes in economic opportunities, because a lot of the times you do find in situations such as these that there are vested interests where people will be saying, actually, if this person goes, we lose out on it. So I wonder if you are able to comment at all about that, but that's an observation I've just picked up, either with orange overalls, blue overalls, and the green EPWP overalls. There seems to be a story there.
There is a clear distinction from the group of protesters to the normal community residents who are just standing by watching this situation happen. A clear distinction from them. In fact, I want to catch up with some of them. Are you part of this grouping that says the Premier must stay?
The condition is, I don't have idea what I'm saying, but I just stand here to see what is going on.
A lot of confusion, as you can hear from that gentleman, from the ordinary man on the ground in the Northwest, the ordinary residents. But you can see that there's a clear mobilization of these individuals in overalls seeming to be brought here. I want to catch up once more with Kenny Morolong, just to find out, did you have an idea who this grouping is? And they're saying that Job Mokgoro is not going anywhere.
These are not even 15 people who are gathered outside. Who are burning tires outside of the provincial office of the ANC. We remain undeterred. The decisions of the ANC are going to be carried out by deployees of the ANC in the legislature. And we are not going to dignify this mischief with a further response. All we can say is that the press conference is going ahead. We remain undeterred. The ANC is not going to be held at ransom by a rented mob. A small mob of 15 people who are drunk, visibly drunk, outside the provincial office burning tires. We expect the police to act and act in the best interest, not just of our society, but also in the best interest of ensuring that we preserve the rule of law.
Has Premier Job Mokgoro resigned yet?
Well, we have a press conference at 1 o'clock. We will explicitly express ourselves with respect to this matter of the resignation, whether it has indeed occurred, but also we'll express ourselves with respect to the next course of action.
Do you know who these people are mobilized by?
Well, in the first instance, we don't think that they are members of the ANC, because there's a particular decorum that members of the ANC would always, there's a manner in which members of the ANC behave. These are not ANC members. This is a group of hooligans who have been rented to come in and disrupt a press conference which is going to go ahead regardless.
Do you know who they've been rented by?
Well, we have our own suspicions. The provincial coordinator is engaging the police. We will, at an appropriate time, make a public pronouncement on this matter.
Okay, thank you very much. Kenny Morolong, the provincial spokesperson of the IPC here, mentioning that it's a rented crowd. In fact, not deterred, as that press conference still expected to go ahead at 1. Of course, the majority of the people that you see outside are, in fact, not part of that grouping that's just standing and watching by, as the police have basically come near the ANC headquarters to try and give it guidance. We've seen a police nyala right next to it, accompanied by 2 police kumbis, and across the streets there are further vans here, as the police watching out, trying to quell what may happen here.
All right, Aviwe, let's leave it there for the moment and do stay safe as you are covering that. As we saw that gentleman right now, right in the middle of the street. It's really important to remain safe even as you carry out your tasks there. That's eNCA senior journalist Aviwe Mtila, hearing there from the leadership of the Northwest ANC. Of course, that briefing and announcement slated for 1 p.m. Somewhere between the IPC and the NEC and the NWC, NYTT, and all of, you get where I'm going. Perhaps we will have clarity for the people of the Northwest as to what is happening with the basics of water, electricity, street lights, and paved roads, etc.